This month on Mechanics of the Game, we feature Ken Ryan, who was demoted from Boston to Double-A Trenton and now is back with Pawtucket as he tries to get his pitching game back in order. Okay, Ken, kind of a crazy year, but I guess it can't be too bad. At least you're right back in your old neighborhood. You grew up not far from here, right?
That's right. Yeah, I grew up in Seekonk, so I'm the next town over. Actually, I was born in Pawtucket, so yeah, it's nice to be back home.
And especially it's nice to be back home for you because I know your wife, any day now, is expecting another baby.
Yeah, she's she went into early labor last week, so she's still having contractions and stuff, but she's not due for another couple of weeks, but it could be any time.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a little bit why you're here. And I think mostly, I mean, you've been everywhere. You've been down in Double-A a little, now you're back here. But I think mostly it's a matter of mechanics. And I know you felt early in the year, maybe a late start in the season, your mechanics were a little off. Is there any way you can demonstrate or talk about what you were doing wrong and hopefully what you've gotten straightened out now?
Well, you know, I think I was rushing a little bit and I was overthrowing and doing a lot of things that you can't do. You know, I got to stay back and get to a good balance point, and I really wasn't doing that. And I got down with Nipper, and we started going over some tapes, and I noticed some things I was doing this year that I wasn't doing last year, and I threw the ball well last year. So really started from basics, went over from basics again, things that I do when if I was to teach a kid how to pitch and go over mechanics, I'd do the same thing. I started doing the same things with myself. So and a lot of it has to do with just getting yourself back together mentally, getting yourself knowing exactly what you're going to do out there, and getting yourself back on track. And that's basically what I was doing down in Trenton for the last month. And I feel like for the most part everything's right back where it was, and now it's just time to get some work out and get some work in there and get ready to go up.
Okay, so basically you've been trying to rediscover yourself and the form that gave you a couple of solid seasons in the big leagues. But one thing you have changed and worked on is you've gone to a bit of a Fosh changeup. And I know Nipper, you know, is a big advocate of that, teaches that to everybody. Could you just maybe tell us a little bit about the Fosh and why you've gone to it?
Well, you know, last year I threw fastball, curveball. I was really a two-pitch pitcher, and a lot of times hitters, you know, if I threw my breaking ball, they'd just take it, and they'd wait for the fastball. So this pitch, it's one thing about it is it's very deceptive. It looks like a fastball because I have great arm speed with it, and it's about 10 miles, 12 miles slower than my fastball, and it sinks a little bit. So I can get a lot of easy ground balls, get some guys out. Especially if I'm behind in the count, I can throw this in. If it's a fastball count, I can get a hitter out in front and maybe get just a weak ground ball out of it. But it's a pitch that I've worked on about the last month or so, and you know, it's still new. I'm still working on it, but I feel real confident with it already. And I think it's the kind of pitch that, you know, down the road could be the kind of pitch that could really help me and make me even that much better.
And you kind of hold it. It's almost like a hybrid of the changeup and the split finger.
Well, yeah, the split finger you really want to get really out. You really get your fingers spread really wide. And on this pitch, I don't spread them as wide. It's a little bit, it's more of like a changeup grip, but my fingers are spread on it. And the one thing about the split finger and the forkball that I don't really like is, you know, once you spread these fingers out too wide, it really puts a lot of pressure on your elbow.
Right.
And you notice that a lot of times guys that throw a lot of forkballs, a lot of split fingers, they come down with some elbow problems. And one thing I do is I like to think that I really am a student of the game. I watch a lot of guys pitch, and I notice what pitches, if not thrown effectively or correctly, can hurt the arm. And that's definitely one pitch, if you're not throwing it right, can hurt you. So when I was talking with Nipper about throwing this Fosh, he said, you know, we're not going to spread the fingers that wide, so it's not going to put any pressure on your elbow. And that's one thing I liked about it. And one thing about throwing a circle change, that a lot of people talk about as a circle change, is when you come over and you got to turn it over. And there's a lot of movement to the changeup. This pitch I'm throwing right now is like a fastball. All I got to think is fastball, and I throw it just like a fastball, and it's 10 miles, 12 miles slower than my fastball, which is ideal.
Okay, well, it sounds good, and we're going to get you back up to the majors, even if it means losing you here in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
Thanks.